my name is Jay. I work for the Boys and Girls Club, and thank you for joining my video on music theory. Now today, we're gonna focus more on rhythm. Last week, I introduced quarter notes and eighth notes. 4 beats, 4 quarter notes equal 8 eighth notes. So 8/8 kind of makes sense. If that confuses you a little bit, think of $1. $1 has 4 quarters in it. The word quarter kind of just means 4. To get you more comfortable with that concept, we're gonna do a warm-up where we clap out quarter notes and eighth notes. And I have some flashcards. Can you guys guess which one comes first? Right here. Is it a quarter note or an eighth note? If you guessed quarter note, you are correct. Now, you can tell the difference of an eighth note from a quarter note by the little flag that comes with it. You can't really tell in any of the ones that I printed out, I guess to make it a little easier for you guys, but even if there wasn't a pair of eighth notes, it would still have a little flag like that. And so that's the difference between a quarter note and an eighth note when you're reading music. But you don't have to worry about that so much. We're gonna clap them out and just get used to the timing of quarter and eighth notes. Okay? If you guys feel comfortable, you can try to clap it with me. Do you guys hear the difference? One more time, you could try to do it with me. Now, as you may have noticed that eighth notes are faster than quarter notes, and if not, we have a couple more that we can try. Now in this one, does an eighth note or a quarter note come first? If you guess eighth note, then you are correct. Let's clap it out. In that one, it was a little more easier to recognize the difference between eighth notes and quarter notes. One more time, see if you can keep up. You guys are doing a great job following along, by the way. This one is all quarter notes, okay? So all the beats are gonna sound the same. Ready? Easy. Now, if you wanna hear that on the piano, it would sound like this. Hopefully by now you've noticed the difference between quarter notes and eighth notes. And we'll do a few more. Now, like the other one we did a couple flashcards back, this is kind of the same, except instead of all quarter notes, you guessed it, it's all eighth notes. Now, on a piano, it would sound like this. This one, to get a better idea, would sound like this. Can you hear the difference? Can you guess which one came first, eighth notes or quarter notes? If you said eighth notes, then you are correct. And if you said quarter, don't worry, you'll get it in no time. Last one. Let's see if you can clap it out by yourself. All together now. Way to go! That was just a little warm-up to get you more comfortable with eighth notes and quarter notes. And today, to make it a little easier to practice these rhythms at home, we're gonna learn how to make our own drums. As you can see, I have a few materials with me to make my drum. You can make drums with other things as well, and I'll offer those alternatives as I go along. But here's what I have. I have a tin kind of thing, and you can use any kind of tin. The bigger the better. This one's made of plastic. You can also use aluminum tins or wooden tins, anything like that. A box even, but round is better. But if you get a square one, it's okay. You can even do something smaller. It just won't be as loud. You need to work with what we got, okay? And then for the cover of a drum, I know everyone's probably seen the drum before, and they usually have like a paper like thing over the top. I'm going to be using this parchment sheet paper, and you can also use like freezer paper or any kind of arts and crafts paper that's not too thick. Then I have a couple of shoestrings. You can use any kind of string, I just had shoestrings. And then I have 2 pencils. You guys can probably guess what this is for. And I got 2 corks. I'll explain what this is for later and other things that you can use for it. And then I got some rubber bands. First part of making a drum is having the actual drum, obviously. And like I said, I'm using a tin. But you can also use things like jars. It'll be a little smaller and the sound will be different, but that's okay. We can experiment. And you can also make a whole set of drums. You can use pots and pans. That's a really popular one. And then you don't really need any of this extra stuff except for your beaters, which I'll show you how to make. And then you just turn them upside down and you beat on them with your quarters and your eighth notes that you learned from this lesson. The paper itself, like I said, you can use anything that's not too thick. And what we're gonna do with this is, I'm gonna use 2 sheets just because I want it to be a little thicker and this is kind of thin. We're just gonna put it around the top, the opening of the drum. Okay. Yay, I have a rubber band big enough. If you guys don't, you can always have a partner or a parent, anyone in your household help you to hold the paper down. It's okay, take your time. No need to rip your paper. We're all at home anyways. Might as well practice some patience. I'm still gonna tie my strings around it just to give it extra protection because we don't want it coming out while we're banging away on it. See, we want it nice and tight so we can make the best sounds as possible. Okay. Right, now we got our drum out the way. Next, we need some to beat on the drum. I'm gonna use some pencils, and that's what these little corks are for. And they're just stuff to cover like bottles. But if you don't have these lying around the house, you can use like a little small rubber ball or a ping pong, and then usually you want to cover those in like some type of cloth as well, which I forgot and I'll go grab in a second. But first, we are going to wrap our ball or a cork or whatever we want to use. We are going to wrap it with rubber band. Oh, and I forgot to mention, for like the actual sticks of the drum, you can use sticks from outside. You can use spoons. If you use spoons, you probably won't need like corks because they have the round part at the end. You can even use like wooden spoons that your parents might have in the kitchen, or cooking spoons, any kind of spoons. And if you want to make like a cooler sound, you should wrap some kind of cloth around it. And I'm gonna put 2 rubber bands just for extra holds because it gets kind of crazy playing the drums. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. All right, test them, make sure they won't fall off. I got my cloth. I'm using this old pouch thing I have because I don't use it for anything. You can use an old t-shirt or rags or anything you have around the house, or if your parents want, they can buy you cloths so you don't rip anything up. Don't cut anything without your parents' permission. Don't cut any shirts or anything like that. But I'm gonna use this cloth, and I'm gonna get my scissors, and I'm going to eyeball it. Okay, my cloth is cut. As you see, it does not have to be perfect. What is that anyways? As long as it wraps around like this, that is good enough for us. And I'm gonna put another rubber band on to make my cloth stay. I'm gonna tie it all the way to the bottom of the pencil. Ta-da! Looks just like a drumstick, doesn't it? And now we cut our other cloth. Cut, cut, cut. Alright, now that the boring stuff is out the way, wow, it kind of works. Okay, we're gonna take our flashcards from earlier and we're gonna drum out some beats with our new drums. Woo woo! Also, you don't have to be limited to these flashcards. This is just a warm-up to get you started and understanding the difference between the length of some beats. But you know, once you make your own drums, your own drum set, hopefully some of you guys go crazy. And maybe you could take a picture of your drums and send it to us and we could post it on the newsletter or something. That would be super cool. But yeah, you guys should just go crazy and make a whole drum set, and then you will be unlimited. You will be able to play your favorite songs on the drum set just by ear. This is quarter, eighth, eighth, quarter, eighth, eighth. Can you guys remember that? Hey. I started freestyling a little bit. I got carried away. Now, this is a memory test game. I'm not showing you guys the flashcards anymore. Now we're gonna do eighth, 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 quarter, quarter. Now we're gonna do all eighth notes, 4 pairs. So what does that mean? 8 eighth notes. Pretty simple. Now we're gonna do all quarter notes, which are the same length as all the eighth notes we just played, but slower. So there's only 4 instead of 8. Now, if you're bored with this, then you're a rock star. You could just go on your own and make your own rhythms. But for those who are still keeping up with me, we're gonna do another test. It goes eighth, eighth, quarter, quarter, eighth, eighth, quarter, quarter, eighth, eighth, quarter, quarter, eighth, eighth, quarter, quarter, eighth, eighth, quarter, quarter. Radical. One more challenge for you. See if you could drum this out. Quarter, eighth, eighth, quarter, eighth, eighth. Quarter, eighth, eighth, 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 quarter, eighth, eighth. Wow, you guys are pretty good. Don't forget to send a pic of your awesome drum set to the link below. Now, as a reminder, you don't have to use the same materials I use for my drum set. You can use things for the drum like an empty plastic milk jug. You can use anything empty and plastic, really. Any kind of tin, whether it be metal, plastic, or wooden. You can use pots and pans. Those are probably the best ones as far as noise goes, to be honest. And then you won't even need something plastic like this on top. And then for the paper, you can use sheet of canvas paper. You can use plastic bags that you rip open, or however you want to do it. Maybe it just fits right over. There's a lot of things you can use. You just have to get creative. So yeah, basically anything round or anything paper or plastic that is thin enough for you to drum on and make a good noise. You don't want it to be too thick because it will muffle the sound. Thank you again for joining me this week and learning more about music theory. I can't wait to see your awesome drum sets, and I hope you guys send some in. Don't forget to check out all the other awesome videos on our YouTube page.